towards the end when things were really bad, I was drinking, it would be about 3 bottles of wine a day. And if you'd have asked me back then, are you a good mum? I'd have said, absolutely. When I was passing out every night, if there was anything that happened in the home, if there was a fire, if there was an intruder, if one of the kids was ill, if anything happened, I would have been useless. I really had no self-worth, no self-love, no self-care. I put everybody else before me. I saw everybody else as better. So one of us had to smuggle some drugs in. And I said, yeah, I'll do it, no problem. So we wrapped up 4 grams of cocaine and I put it inside me, in my vagina.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
And when we got into the club, I went into the toilet with a female friend and went to get it out, and it opened up. The experience that I thought would kill me, would break me, was the worst point in my life, has become the catalyst for the best things in my life.
You had conversations with the kids. Did you think a lot of it stemmed from that sort of, I suppose, lack of love for yourself?
I was trying to...
I mean, that's quite the story. Hi, Tash. Welcome to the show. First of all, let's just, I suppose, learn a bit about you, or what do we need to know? What do I need to know, and what does everyone else need to understand about you?
Well, I'm Tash. I'm 39 years old. I'm a mum of 2. And 7.5 years ago, I hated my life. I wished I was dead. I was depressed, anxious. I had no job. My relationships were failing. The biggest relationship that was failing was the relationship with myself. I wasn't functioning as a human being properly. I was isolating myself. I had depression, anxiety, wasn't looking after myself or my 2 children as best as I could. And that was all because I am an alcoholic and a drug addict, and I was in active addiction. And then 7.5 years ago, I got sober, and my life has completely changed for the better. I'm living a life now that back then I would have never dreamed would have been possible. It would have, if somebody had said to me, in 7.5 years, you're going to be sober for 7.5 years, you're going to be genuinely happy, you're going to love your life, you're going to own your own business, you're going to be writing a book, you'll be helping people because of this, what you're going through now, I'd have never have believed them. I saw no way out, but I'm here. It's like a miracle.
I mean, that is pretty incredible that, you know, I mean, firstly, congratulations for, hitting the 7.5 years and being able to, I suppose, turn your life around. I don't think that's an unfair thing to say, because...
Absolutely, yeah.
You know, there was drink and there was drugs involved.
Yeah.
Like, addicted to both.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, when we say addicted to both, what does that look like? As in, how often were you using and how often you were drinking, or what was addiction like? Towards
the end of my addiction, when it got the worst, and I'd say I wasn't functioning anymore, because for a long time I would have been what you would have called a functioning alcoholic.
Okay,
it was quite difficult to hide behind a party girl persona.
Yeah.
So, you know, when I did openly say, I'm an alcoholic, I need help, you know, when I really surrendered, and I suppose I came out as sober.
Yeah.
There were so many people that were actually shocked, like, oh, you know, you weren't that bad, or were shocked at the things that, you know, the stories that I'll tell, and the way that I described that life had become, because I hid it so well for so long. But towards the end, when things were really bad, I was drinking It would be about 3 bottles of wine a day.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, and I was buying the little miniatures as well, just hiding places in case I did run out of alcohol before I passed out, because I was passing out most nights as well. I would just wake up in the morning, usually in the same clothes that I'd worn the night before, on the stairs, in the bathroom, in the kitchen, in my son's bedroom, not remembering how I'd got there or even how I'd put the kids to bed. And I was doing cocaine and speed on top of that. So that's what it looked like substance-wise for me, addiction, at the worst. Mentally, it was like living in hell. It was hell. But, it was a hell that I'd built for myself that I could see no way out of. It was this awful self-sabotage that felt like it was beyond my control. Like I couldn't stop what I was doing as much as I hated it. There was no joy or no fun there anymore. I was chasing what I had.
Yeah.
That,
I know what you mean. That sort
the
of
romanticising, the summer nights and the holidays and the highs of it that are just, they were long gone.
Because a lot of the time, drugs and alcohol are sort of glamorized like that. You sort of say, the holiday drinks and the airport drink or the celebratory drink. And certainly in England, we've got that culture of, if something's good, you have a drink. If it's bad, you have a drink.
Yeah, exactly.
And I guess once you get caught in that thing, even if you don't like doing it, you're like, but my life's so shit. I want to then carry on drinking because that then numbs that feeling that you had, I guess.
Yeah, that's it. There was contradictions everywhere. I was trying to chase a high and always, I wanted that excitement and that buzz, but also I wanted to completely numb out everything. Like I was also chasing oblivion, so I didn't want to feel at all. Because, things were so terrible. What I couldn't see at the time was the thing that was making everything worse was the alcohol. But I saw that as my saviour, as the thing I couldn't let go of. That was the
coping
thing.
Mechanism. Almost.
Yeah, that was my crutch and my comfort. And it was also this habit that I was so scared of who I would be and what my life would become, even though my life was awful. I was so scared to let go. I didn't know what was beyond the drink. If only I knew, maybe I'd have stopped sooner.
I mean, did you always have this, you said party girl, didn't you? So was that you from that sort of 18 or 17, 18 or 16 or whatever it was? I mean, back then we did go out at 16, didn't we? It was a bit easier. But, were you always that party girl? And that's maybe why people were like, well, that's your personality.
Yeah. I started drinking at 13.
Okay.
And it was normal back then. Like I said, I'm 39, so we're talking like 90s.
Yeah.
Yeah, 90s drinking.
Yeah, I'm mid-40s,
we were park drinking and big bottles of cider and Lambrini and all of that. And I started drinking at 13. After, I'd say maybe 2 years of drinking with friends.
Yeah.
In secret, or like we tried to in fields and things like that. I started drinking with family. And again, it was just something that was very normal. I didn't think there was anything wrong with having a drink every single day. It was only when I got older and I kind of I met other people. I got boyfriends, so I kind of saw inside other people's homes and their normal life that I realised we weren't normal as a family. I actually thought they weren't normal. I thought, how weird that they don't drink. I remember once I bought one of my ex-boyfriends, I bought his mum a bottle of wine And I remember going into the house every day and seeing the same bottle of wine on the kitchen side. And I thought, why on earth isn't she drinking that wine? I couldn't get my head around it, that people didn't drink every single day.
There is that strange relationship with alcohol. I mean, the drugs maybe slightly differently, but with alcohol, it's almost like it's strange if you don't drink.
Yes.
You know,
Yeah.
like people don't say, "Oh, what, you don't do coke?" You know, but like that's maybe a little bit more. But with alcohol, it's sort of just built in. Well, you're the odd one out for not drinking.
Yeah. It's like even with smoking, if you offered someone a cigarette and they said, "Oh, I'm giving up," or, "Yeah, I don't smoke," you wouldn't have that pressure of, "Oh, go on, just have one."
No.
Or, yeah, "Why don't you smoke?" Or, "Why would you give up?" You'd get congratulated.
Yeah.
But it's really weird with alcohol. People are so protective over it. I have, because on my sober account on Instagram, I'm very open and honest about like my experience and the reason why I've given up. And, I'll put facts about alcohol, and I get a lot of lovely comments and a lot of support. But then I have other comments of people who are absolutely furious that I would say anything negative about alcohol. It's funny. I don't know why we have that like protective, that protectiveness over just a drink, a substance.
Yeah, it is like part of the culture, isn't it?
Yeah.
And therefore you feel like you're attacking our culture,
Yeah,
that sort of, drinking culture, I guess, that's so prominent, certainly, I was going to say at weekends in the town centres, but, you were there every day. And the drugs as well. So, I mean, when did that start happening?
I started taking, and I'd say this was the first addiction I remember having, slimming tablets at about the age of 14, which I didn't need. I was a skinny child.
Yeah.
I was very underdeveloped. So I've got no idea why I started taking them, but I know I was 14 because I was at school, and I remember being in the canteen, and everyone else was getting their food, and I was sat eating nothing but feeling the effects of this, and it was an amphetamine.
Okay.
I can't remember the name of it, but it was like speed.
Yeah.
So it got that feeling and that rush, and that was at about the age of 14, like I said. So I started taking them, and I just liked the feeling of feeling different and of being different from everybody else. My friends at school, it was almost like a secret that I was keeping.
Yeah.
From there, I moved on to speed, and then cocaine. And I used to take cocaine so that I could drink more alcohol. It was the alcohol that was the gateway drug for me. I would smoke when I was drinking. I would take coke when I was drinking. Without the alcohol, which, to be fair, was there every day.
Yeah.
I wouldn't smoke and I wouldn't take drugs. The big problem for me was the alcohol, but yeah, it seemed to all start with an amphetamine.
So when did you suddenly realize, because you said, even though you didn't enjoy it, you couldn't stop, but you did stop. So how did that come about?
It was around the age of 30. I just had my daughter at 29, and the drinking after that was when it got, I'd say, dark drinking. There was no fun there anymore. And my mental health took a decline. I split up with my daughter's dad, and me and my two children, because I had an older son as well from a previous relationship, moved out of that family home into a house on our own. And I had nobody there to kind of watch over me.
Yeah.
I guess. Even though if somebody, alcohol broke up many of my relationships because alcohol always came first. So if anyone even tried to say to me, which they did,
Yeah.
I think you're drinking too much, I even got, I think you're an alcoholic, I split up with them and called them controlling.
Yeah.
Because I didn't want to face up to the truth. I would rather blame it on that person and kind of gaslight them into,
Yeah.
you're mad and you're a control freak. How could you think I've got a problem? Yeah. So then I left to my own devices with the breakup. And then, you build up a tolerance as well. So my one bottle of wine, say in my early 20s, got to the point where, well, this isn't enough. I'm drinking this quicker and I'm not feeling the effects. So then that turned into 2 bottles of wine. And then by the age of 30 was 3 bottles of wine. So, what was going on in my personal life, and then with on top of the alcohol consumption, and alcohol is a depressant.
Yeah.
I think that all just, it's a case of the chicken and the egg. What came first? Was it poor mental health or the addiction? I don't know. I just know that everything's got better once I removed that substance. But so at the age of 30, that's when I thought to myself for the first time, although terrible things had happened before then that I chose to ignore, that's when I first thought, I think I've got a problem. And I think it's alcohol. I think if I weren't drinking this much, life wouldn't be as bad.
Yeah.
It was very hard to admit that to myself, let alone anybody else. So that was a secret that I kept for quite a while before I voiced any concerns. And I used to Google, am I an alcoholic? To see to look for proof that I wasn't, I think.
Yeah. You wanted a bit of reassurance, like say
Yeah.
you were looking for that.
Yeah.
That
So I
support.
wanted Google to be like, absolutely not.
Yeah.
Why
And you'd
would
be
you
like,
think
okay,
that?
great. I can go up to 4 bottles now, whatever it is.
Exactly. Pop the cork, brilliant.
I'm fine. I mean, did you go from that 3 bottles to nothing, or did you have
No.
these breaks? Because I think I saw, I heard you say something that you certainly wouldn't be this type of person that could have 1 drink and that
God,
was
no.
it.
Yeah.
You almost can't fathom the idea of someone being able to have a drink and then go, well, no, I'm just having 1 and moving on.
No.
Do you think you've got an addictive personality, or do you think it was just alcohol, or what?
Yeah, I think I know I've got an addictive personality. The difference is, with other addictions that I've got, like I'll overconsume coffee.
Yeah.
I'm a very driven person, but that is because when I'm passionate about something, I will throw myself into it, and I become quite obsessed.
Yeah.
With that passion or that pursuit that I've got. So, in some ways it's great. In other ways it can be very, I'll hit burnout.
Yeah.
And then other areas of my life get completely ignored because I'm like that. I must hyper focus on this thing that I've become addicted to.
Yeah.
But the difference is, if I get an addiction to the gym, and I'm there every day and I'm working out, it's not going to ruin my life like the alcohol was.
Yeah, I've often heard an addiction described as something that you almost do compulsively that is negatively affecting your life.
Yeah.
So you can do these other things and that's great, but they're not an addiction because it's not a negative effect. But when something becomes a negative effect and you keep doing it, then that is...
they call it the definition of madness, isn't it? It's doing the
Yeah.
same thing over and over again, expecting a different outcome, which never comes, is what we all alcoholics, we've all done that.
Yeah.
And you think it'd be different this time. It'd be different this time. And it never is. It's the same chaos over and over and over again. Like, I know it would never, ever be 1 drink for me. If I were to ever relapse, I would go straight back to where I was before.
Yeah.
To the place that caused me to want to get to where I am now. I just rewind the tape and go back 7.5 years in time. I'd end up there again, right at the bottom. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's you were saying you even kept like mini bottles around. So,
Yeah.
I mean, were you working at this point? Did you manage to sort of hide it, or because you said functioning alcohol? So you got up, got the kids ready,
Yeah.
sort of functioned enough
Yeah.
that not everyone would have guessed this.
Yeah. So I was in and out of jobs. I did find it hard to hold jobs down, but I always had jobs. So I was in and out of work until the end.
Yeah.
And then I wasn't working. And if you'd have asked me back then, are you a good mum? I'd have said, absolutely. I love my kids. You know, I thought that was enough. I'd die for my kids. I'd do anything for them. And I always felt like I was protecting my kids from any danger. The kids were always with me. What I couldn't see was I was the most dangerous thing in their life. I was constantly putting them in danger. When I was passing out every night, if there was anything that happened in the home, if there was a fire, if there was an intruder, if one of the kids was ill, if anything happened, I would have been useless. Them kids wouldn't have been able to wake me up.
Yeah, I mean, have you had conversations with the kids?
My daughter is 10, so the woman she knows now is the woman that, you know, that she's always remembers.
Yeah.
Because she was young when
Yeah.
I got sober. So we have an incredible relationship where she can trust me, she can rely on me. And when she goes to bed at night, the mummy that puts her to sleep is the mummy that wakes her up in the morning. She never has to worry about, you know, what my mood's going to be like, whether I'm because I'm hungover
Yeah.
or because I really need a drink or something like that.
Yeah.
Whereas my son had 10 years of my chaos, of being dragged around with my lifestyle. Like I said, I thought that I was a good mum, but I was unsettled. I was restless. I was chaotic. And we had places to live, me and my son, but I couldn't stay in them because I constantly needed to be around other people. I couldn't kind of sit still with my own thoughts. So if we were at home, I would be drunk. If we weren't, we would be at friends' houses where I would be drinking again with friends. And we basically lived out of a bag. We would go from friends' houses to families' houses. Also, I didn't need to be at home and just live a normal life.
Yeah.
I was constantly running from reality, but dragging him around with me. And I actually forgot this, but I read one of my journals the other day, and it said in there that my son had said to me, he preferred, this must have been when I first got sober. And like I said, he was still young. He was 10 when I got sober. And he said that he preferred me when I was drunk because I was more fun. But what he had been used to was a mum who would get him up at 9 o'clock in the evening in his pajamas and say, come on, let's go to the shops.
Yeah.
So I could get wine. Come on, I'll get you some sweets and you can stay up. And it says in this journal that broke my heart because I don't want him to think that that lifestyle is fun. I don't want him to chase that kind of fun, that chaos, that, you know, the ups and downs of being unsettled. And, you know, I think I'm glad that he thought it was fun and it wasn't a horrible experience for him. Like I said, you know, I thought that he had a good childhood, but maybe that was just my delusion, you know, trying to keeping me in the habit and not having to change.
But you've changed now, and you've
Oh, yeah.
you've turned your life around, but obviously you're trying to support and help other people. And I mean, I do quite like some of your content because you know, while you're very passionate about the benefits of a sober life, you know, you're not forcing it on people. You try and create fun content and just explain how it's benefited you. So someone listening to this thinking, okay, yeah, but I'm not like that. I just like a few beers at the weekend. You know, where do you stand on that? Is that okay? Or do you think alcohol generally is? I mean, I think everyone sort of knows that alcohol's a bad drug. And most people will say, you know, if it came out now, it would be like a class A drug, but we've romanticized this thing and it's part of our culture.
Yeah.
But do you think most people should try and reduce their alcohol intake anyway?
Yeah. I mean, I'm not walking the streets, you know, condemning everybody that drinks outside pubs. You know, you're a disgrace. I think if you can have a couple of drinks or drink and it's not interfering with your life in a negative way at all, go for it. For me, it was ruining my life, and I would dread to think where I'd be now if I hadn't have given up. And I think that there are many people who are living like I was living, which was a lie, you know, from the outside. And on my Instagram and on my Facebook, you know, I've often said it's like Snow White, you know, the apple, shiny and red on the outside and then like rotten to the core on the inside.
Yeah.
And I was scared to come out and say, I need help. You know, there's still a massive stigma around addiction.
Yeah.
And especially for parents as well. You're scared of, will my kids get taken away from me if I'm open and honest about this addiction? So it does get hidden for many reasons, which is why I really love to be open and honest, because when you're open and honest about something like that, it normalises it. So it is going to break that stigma and it's going to make people be more honest and with what's going on with them.
Yeah.
You know, if you can relate to somebody else, it's a feeling of comfort as well. I think you don't feel so alone. When I first, and just before I got sober as well, actually, I used to search sober content on Instagram.
Okay. Yeah.
And I used to look at pages, but not follow them because I didn't want people to see that I was following sober pages. I didn't want to out myself. So I used to look at them and think, oh, I wish that could be me. I thought they were so inspirational, but I almost looked at them like a unicorn, like these magical creatures, like it could never be me. Like they couldn't have been as bad as I was.
But there is that bit of a stigma, isn't there, around probably mental health and addiction that almost seem like, oh, we just stop it or snap yourself out of it. Or if someone does relapse, they blame the person. Whereas a lot of other illnesses, I've often seen it, you know, someone might have, you know, some cancer treatment and cancer's awful, but if it doesn't work, we blame the treatment. We don't blame them.
Yeah.
But with alcohol, or an addiction, if you get some help, but then you relapse, it's not, oh, the help didn't work. The person gets blamed, don't they? So there is that, I guess, do people feel shame about it because of that and therefore they don't want to admit it and just get caught up in, you know what, I'll just carry on having a drink because that's easier than accepting and trying to get the help and, you know, family knowing, friends knowing, so on and so on. Yeah,
I think definitely. I mean, everyone's got their own different reasons. It's funny because I say about addicts, you can be talking. So me as a, say, 39-year-old woman, I could be talking to a 80-year-old man and our drinking and our lives can be completely different, but we would massively relate to each other.
Yeah.
We have so much in common, no matter our age, our race, our gender, and all of that. But yeah, everybody's reasons are different.
So what's next? I mean, obviously you've got your Instagram account, and I believe you're writing a book as well to share. I mean, you've got your own podcast as well.
Yeah.
So you're doing as much to support and help other people on this journey. And I guess that's come from just the way you feel about it and the benefits that you've felt. I mean, I guess let's talk about that first of all. What have been some of the best benefits for you?
They're endless. Honestly, they're just waking up every morning without a hangover. It will never get old. I used to drag my head up off the pillow and think, not again, not this again. It was like living in hell, it felt like a possession. It felt like being possessed.
Yeah.
Like walking around with a darkness and a cloud over you all the time. It just felt like a hole that you couldn't get out of no matter how hard you tried. It's like I was drowning. So the freedom of breaking free of that. Obviously, like I said, I am a mum, and knowing that I genuinely am a good mum now.
Yeah.
And my kids can rely on me 24/7. There will never be a time that I'm not going to be there for them. It doesn't matter what time of the day. 24/7, I'm there, and I can, and I will. The change in my mental health, in my physical health, in my personal life. I had no qualifications. I didn't know who I was. I was a drinker.
Yeah,
That's
that was your
all
identity.
I was good at.
Yeah,
That's all I knew. I was the biggest drinker. I could drink the most. I would stay up the longest. I was I thought I was loud and I was fun and I was obnoxious and I was annoying. And now I've got my own business. I've got qualifications now. I've trained. I've passed courses, and I've got a community that I've built. I've got my podcast. I'm writing the book. I've been invited onto podcasts. And before, nobody would have wanted to hear anything I had to say.
Aye.
All of the opportunities that I've had, everything that I've built, it would have been impossible if I hadn't have given up drinking.
And I mean, do you find it hard now in some social situations? And I think you went to Ibiza, didn't you, recently?
Yeah.
I mean, how was that compared to old visits to Ibiza?
Yeah, completely different to the Ibiza trip that I had 10 years ago. It was lovely, and I went with my daughter. So my son's just been out in America for a month with his dad and their family. So me and my daughter went over to Ibiza. We've got some friends that live there, and we stayed in the old town. So it was beautiful, like the culture and the buildings.
I love Ibiza. It's like one of my favourite
amazing. And so we just had some lovely meals. We ate really well. We stayed up late. We swam in the sea. We were in the pool. It was with my 10-year-old, so we didn't really leave the water. We had the snorkels on, but it was lovely and it was so relaxed. But the trip I went on 10 years prior, I'd been drunk for about 2 days before I went. And then when we got there, we arrived at a villa. We'd met some friends over there that were staying there. And there was just mounds on plates of ketamine and cocaine, just drinks everywhere. So I didn't sleep for 3 days. I barely ate.
Yeah.
I was just doing drugs, drinking alcohol. I don't even think I really had any water. And then I put this up as a post, actually. on Instagram, and then Instagram took it down, and then I got banned for a little bit.
Oh dear.
I got the shadow ban. We went into a club, and I'd already, at this point, I'd been there about 2 days. I'd done a lot of cocaine. And we went into a club. So one of us had to smuggle some drugs in. And I said, yeah, I'll do it, no problem. So we wrapped up 4 grams of cocaine, and I put it inside me, in my vagina.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
And when we got into the club, I went into the toilet with a female friend, and went to get it out, and it opened up inside me.
Oh.
Yeah. And dissolved. So on top of everything else I'd already taken, that 4 grams. Yeah. I went out, told my friends, we all laughed, and then I just started taking more.
I mean, that's quite the story.
Yeah.
So yeah, it got almost like even part of that of someone needs to smuggle it in. Yeah, I'll do that because you were the party girl.
Yeah.
And you wouldn't say no.
No.
Like,
there was no sense of danger. I was no fucks given.
did you feel you were
I didn't care
indestructible?
about anything. I just think I didn't care because I didn't care about myself. So I didn't care about any consequences because I really had no self-worth, no self-love, no self-care. I put everybody else before me. I saw everybody else as better and everybody else as more and more important than me. So I think for me, that was almost like an act of service. You know, like, I'll do that for you.
Yeah.
To try and be useful, I guess.
A bit of people pleasing.
Yeah.
Tied in with. So do you think a lot of it stemmed from that sort of, I suppose, lack of love for yourself, and therefore you needed something to give you that energy and be the party girl, and so that people would like you?
Yeah. I think I got a good response when I was drinking. Even if I didn't get a good response, it would usually be from people who didn't drink as much or were sober, because I'm sober now and I've been around some annoying drunk people.
Yeah. I mean, drunk people are annoying. Yeah. And it's, I still DJ a little bit, but I was a full-time DJ, and, sometimes I'd drink, but sometimes I was DJing pretty much sober, and I'd see people in clubs and I'd be like, you are annoying.
Yeah.
And then I'd go on a night out and I'd think, hang on, am I the annoying one now? Yes. Because you don't think of yourself as the annoying one, but you do see, and I was just like, just go away.
Yeah.
People were just, and I saw people who I'd see during the day and they were great people, and then on the evening I'm like, oh, you're just a dick. Like, oh wait, but it was just purely the alcohol.
It was the alcohol, yeah. When people, when they start to get annoying as well, when they get too close, they start chewing your ear off, they're repeating everything they're saying, they're getting all hot and sweaty. I have to remind myself that I was worse. I'm like, I would have been way worse than these guys.
I mean, what do you think needs to happen in the country for the education around alcohol and drugs? Because it's still, it almost makes me laugh, and they think, we'll put some more laws in place, but most drugs are illegal, yet they still get taken. So clearly that's not working.
Yeah.
Just saying to someone, don't take drugs. Yeah, I mean, I think the campaign when we were younger was say no, wasn't it?
Just say no.
Just say no.
Yeah.
I mean, okay, great.
Because most teenagers as well are going to be like, if someone says to them, don't do that, what's a teenager's going to go, I'm going to do it.
Yeah.
Like, fuck off, don't tell me what to do, I'm doing it. That was always my attitude. Look where it got me. But I think exactly like you said, it's education. Everything I know now is because I've looked into it.
Yeah.
I had absolutely no idea the dangers of alcohol, because like we've said, it's glamorized, it's normalized, it's absolutely everywhere. In everything we watch, we were brought up on soaps.
Yeah.
You best believe everyone went to that pub.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Everybody in the soap goes to the pub and orders a vodka on the rocks. Like, they're all drinking, but you never see the dark side of it. No one ever gets really drunk or really messy. Phil Mitchell, maybe.
Yeah.
He's
Yeah.
he's the exception, actually. But other than that, they're all functioning absolutely fine.
Yeah.
But it's everywhere. And nobody tells you, no, anywhere, the dangers. It doesn't tell you on the bottles. If you look at cigarettes now, I mean, the pictures on cigarettes.
Yeah,
I
they
don't
put
know why
pictures of lungs
anybody's
and everything,
smoking.
yeah.
They're so expensive, for one.
Yeah.
And the pictures are absolutely horrific. But you walk down the wine aisle, it looks like Aladdin's cave. They're beautiful.
Yeah.
They
Yeah, a lot
are
goes into designing.
literally.
And I must admit, if I'm buying a
still
bottle
get
of
drawn
wine,
in now.
I buy by the label. I'm like,
Yes.
oh, that looks nice.
Yeah. I still now, I'm like, that looks gorgeous.
Yeah.
Like, I bet that tastes nice.
And all the advertising, and any sporting event, it's almost funny that we tie alcohol to sport all the time.
Yes.
Football's on, get the beers in.
And
Rugby's on,
gambling.
get the beers.
Alcohol and gambling.
And
Yeah.
it's all sort of linked in, but it's all showing fun. You're enjoying the game. You're with friends. You're having a cold beer.
It is, yeah.
It's brilliant.
Yeah. Beautiful women, beautiful men, or
Yeah.
people like having a laugh. And it's, it really makes it romanticizes it for you. But if we actually got taught and on these labels were really what it is, well, it's a poison, it's ethanol, we're not meant to drink it. Why do you think we have hangovers? It's not meant to be in our bodies. If you
Yeah.
went to a bakery, ate a donut, and then felt as shit as you did with a hangover from alcohol, you wouldn't eat a donut again.
No.
You wouldn't go back to that bakery.
No. And in fact, lots of people will have woken up in the morning and gone, oh, I'm never drinking again.
Yeah. We
And then we
still
do.
do. Yeah.
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 It is a very strange relationship. And certainly
Yeah.
the UK seems to have more of an issue. Other people seem to, but maybe not. I mean, I think of Europeans enjoying a nice glass of wine at lunchtime. And maybe I've got that romantic image of it.
Yeah.
Maybe-
It doesn't seem to be as bad as we are. There doesn't seem to be that drinking culture or that it was almost quite like that yobbish, like, and but I was the same. I got yobbish.
Yeah. Yeah, because people do get louder. I
Yeah.
guess it links into lots of other things because we know that, town centre fights happen. Fights happen with boys or blokes fighting. It's always alcohol and girls, you
Yeah.
know. And even if it's about a girl, I expect alcohol was involved.
Yeah, yeah.
It's always
the
there.
amount of domestic violence.
Yeah.
Crime, the street fights, drink driving offences, all
Yeah.
of these things. I mean, it's all really heightened with alcohol. If alcohol were removed, a lot of those things, of course they would still happen, but not as frequently,
Aye.
not as much, not as bad without the alcohol. It's like throwing gasoline on the flames. It just heightens everything.
Do you think education is the key one then? Because I don't think. I mean, I'm not a big drinker, but I still have the occasional drink. And again, there is that sort of justification. Yeah, I can have a couple of drinks and I'm okay. So I guess for a lot of people that might be, it's not a nanny state. Stop banning things. But do you think people knowing and just understanding what they're doing, and equally knowing there's other options. I mean, I have quite a few alcohol-free beers.
Yeah.
They're great now.
Yeah.
They taste great.
Yeah. And I think people deserve to know. People should know what they're putting into their bodies. Alcohol is the biggest killer out of all the drugs because it is a drug.
Yeah.
And if you were to ask most people, what do you think is the number one drug that kills most people? I'm sure people would say, oh, heroin or something like that. It's not. It's alcohol. Alcohol is an absolute drain on our society. It costs the NHS billions.
Yeah.
The police, the ambulance services, and we're just not told. It's not that we're not even taught or educated. We're just not told. It's like, there you go, there it is.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. It's just
get
there
on with it.
on your own.
Yeah, surely any other, when you get a prescription from the doctor, you have a leaflet of side effects. We don't get that with alcohol. We should.
Yeah.
It causes cancer, liver disease, amongst, the hangovers. And like I said, that is because it's a poison and it's your body's way of trying to get it out of your body. Your organs are shutting down. So when you pass out, people will think, well, I just went to sleep. I drank too much. I went to sleep. That's not the case. What happens is your body and your organs are so overwhelmed with the amount of alcohol that you've drank, your brain shuts your body down. So it puts you into a coma state to protect you from dying.
Yeah.
That's sink in. Because if you drink anymore and you don't pass out and you continue to, you will get alcohol poisoning and your organs will shut down and fail and you will die. So your brain is protecting you by putting you into a coma to stop you from drinking anymore. But that's something that, we laugh about. We're not told that. It's like, I
got so drunk
out last
you passed
night.
out. Yeah. And we do just, there's often people say, all good stories start with, we've been out but in fact, there's lots of bad stories that have started that way.
Yeah.
And lots of lives ruined.
Yeah. And that's the reality of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what's next for you then? I mean, you've done 7.5 years. You've turned your life right around.
Yeah.
What's your addiction now? What are you really focusing on for the next sort of few years?
Yeah, helping others. Yeah. I would just want to continue what I'm doing now because I just love doing it. I love being able to help other people with my own experience, the experience that I thought would kill me, would break me, was the worst point in my life, has become the catalyst for the best things in my life. And if that experience can help other people get better, then, oh God, it was all worth it.
Tash, thank you for being so honest and open with your story. I mean, I'm sure it sort of really hit home with some people. Yeah, I mean, just congratulations for making it. And I know, you're clearly proud, but you come across, you're clearly a great mum because the way you said it, that and we chatted off camera as well, that you're there for the kids now and you really want to, be present. You said 24/7, you're not passing out, so you can be there for them. So, well done on all that and keep doing what you're doing.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for tuning in to this episode of the Balanced Ambition podcast. I genuinely hope the stories inspire you as much as they inspire me. If you found value in today's conversation, please share it with a friend. And remember, by subscribing, you won't miss an episode, and it would truly mean the world to me. Stay balanced, and I'll see you next time.